All right. Welcome, Chris, to another exciting episode of the Terrorisk podcast.
Welcome, Carmen, to another exciting installment of the Terrorisk podcast.
Yeah, you're providing a lot more mustard in that than I am.
No, I just put emphasis on another.
So that people know that there's just going to be more episodes coming.
Yeah. That's
Not that they ever had any doubt of it. What's your release schedule like?
One episode a week.
Okay, very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good rotation. Keep it going.
Yeah, it's no, it's been working out. I mean, it's not like I need one co-host to bear the brunt of it, but even though a regular co-host would be nice, it's just, I guess it's also, it's not.
You ever think about interviewing yourself and just intersplicing it?
No.
Just record half of it sitting on one side, the other half sitting where you are now.
What I really wish is, because like different people come on the podcast all the time, but I'm like the common thread that holds all the different episodes together. So it's like sometimes I just wish I was like, I'll be talking to Bren and I'll be like, man, I wish Carmen was here listening to this shit. Yeah. Or it's like, I'll be with like Dimitri and I'll be like, man, I wish Bren was here to just like rattle him a little. Yeah.
Well, it's always possible to have a third mic. I know. We just have to organize it.
Well, look, it's getting there. It's hard work on my end, but if it gets some revenue going, then I could start like paying people to come on with me.
That's true.
Because that's really what I would probably end up doing with like any kind of revenue is like split it up with and offer it up to the people who actually show up. But it's like, at first I was like, who knows when that'll be. But now it's like ever since because I just recently bought the domain.
Yeah.
And I purchased hosting services for the domain. So we got our own website now. Terrorisk has its own. Well, it's such bullshit. Terrorisk.com was stolen.
Damn. So someone was squatting on it.
But I didn't want the website to be terroriskpodcast.com. So I just did Terrorisk Works.
Mm-hmm.
Like Skunk Works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I figured
if you get an FBI visit.
No, I mean it would be like a good nexus point for like different creators that I'm like in contact with now like regularly.
It would be. It's a nice kind of throwback name in to me a little bit. It really makes me think about the global war on terror, which was allegedly such a dominant thing and is just totally forgotten about.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I mean, like think about like all the Bush years, and then basically. Say 6 years of Obama. I don't know if that sounds right to you.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound right. That does
sound like a decade.
Like the what's it called days? The fucking
Iraq, Afghanistan war days, Syria, Arab Spring in general.
No. That's true. But I what I was specifically talking about was the. Wow, they have such a perfect name because it just slips from memory so quickly. The original Skunk Works top secret
OSS
government black projects.
OSS Project Phoenix, CIA stuff.
It's a privately traded defense contracting company.
Halliburton?
No, it's like on the level of like
Raytheon.
On the getting close, getting warmer.
Raytheon, Halliburton.
I think it begins with a C. It's just such like a generic, but.
Coca-Cola Corporation.
No. This is gonna bother me. What
would it be?
Military contracting companies. I mean, because there's a bunch. There's Lockheed Martin. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Skunk Works. Lockheed Martin. Yeah. Skunk Works. Yeah. But as far as the blog goes, I mean, it's just okay. So my original plan, I was telling you before, I was like. I'll use Twitter and Facebook as like just a place where I just shit out every random thought that pops up or idea, and whichever one gets traction, that's what I'll expand upon in a blog post. And a blog post is great because that's basically a script for a YouTube video. You could just read the fucking thing out loud over a video edit, dub it over, and you got yourself a YouTube video. Now the only problem with that is like. Every time I try to post something like vaguely meaningful or not really inflammatory at all, not antagonizing anyone, and it's like nothing. But then I'll post something like like oh yeah, you know, like it's a good like I remember when like fat people would try to patronize me when I said like I only ate once a day.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, it's a good thing I don't listen to fat or mentally ill people about
Yeah.
anything. You know, like
Yeah.
about anything.
I mean, the
And then
cheap
people
inflammatory
love that shit. Yeah.
people love cheap inflammatory content. Much of our media ecosystem is based on it.
But I think you have to, first of all, like you have to cultivate like a receptive audience before, unless you have like a friend, the kind of friends list that'll just like shit down your throat for saying shit like that.
Yeah.
But there's that. And like, I don't know, like 5 years ago, maybe there would have been way more people who would have been a lot more emboldened to comment that post and being like, oh, what are you, some kind of fucking shitty ableist, blah blah blah, and everyone would have just jumped on it. Now it's funny because like I said that and like I see the people who like it and I'm like, you know, 5 years ago if one person just like spoke out against this, you guys, those same people would have like liked that.
Now, yeah, that's part of the general vibe shift going on, as we were talking about before in the car.
I mean, the general first of all, the general vibe shift isn't to bullying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not advocating for bullying, because think about what I just said. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, these people need to get the wall. I'm saying like, I just don't listen to fat or mentally ill people about anything. You know, like, is that first of all, should that even be considered inflammatory? I don't know. I mean, maybe if I'm like doing something to mentally ill and fat people, but I'm not. I'm just, you know, living my life. And so yeah, I just don't listen to these people.
As you were saying before about the use of retard, it's just suddenly come back into fashion and no one cares anymore about that. Or at least there's been an easing up on.
No, why stop there? It's not just retard. I've noticed some like huge YouTubers like whipping out words like fag, retard, gay. Those are the three big ones.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the three nonsensically taboo ones.
Yeah.
I mean, retard was the funniest because like you'll never take that away from me. Stop trying.
I always think about, forgive me, but think about the tweet where someone was saying like the women who are most offended at you saying retard are the people who are most likely to abort their child if they have Down syndrome.
Yeah, that's funny. Are the most likely to abort them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, it's not like with, say, ethnic or even sexual-based slurs, you're probably not hanging out with a lot of mentally disabled people.
I used to.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, maybe they weren't actually mentally disabled. Maybe
just dumb?
They were just self-identified as mentally disabled. I mean, let's be real, all right?
Yeah.
If we're really honest about why there seem to have been so many mentally ill people like 5-10 years ago up till now at this point, is because
it was a fashion at the time.
Well, what made it so fashionable? It's because in a lot of ways it could be a sweet deal. For example, if you're like an insignificant, boring, average white girl,
yes,
you're just an insignificant, boring, average white girl. However, if you have crippling depression and anxiety and like you're like you got one foot in the grave or whatever, then suddenly people are forced to pay attention to you. Otherwise, you'll be irresponsible.
And they have to be nice to you. It's something that it's difficult to prove someone has. So you're not going to question it. It's very.
Take the safe route.
It shows you that you're socially retarded if you actually call out someone who you think is faking a mental illness.
I mean, it is funny though.
It is funny. I've done it plenty of times, but yeah, it's like, what are you getting out of this? Why is this so? Why are you so insistent on this?
Yeah.
And then, as I said, I just say that I'm autistic. I'm socially disabled, so I can't help myself because I'm just so devoted to the truth.
No, that's a good. Like
refrain.
No, not a refrain.
Repose?
No. I'm losing my words today. It's a good
reflex. Response.
It's like response, but
retaliation.
It's a little more. It's less pointed than retaliation, but more pointed than response.
Reflection.
No, it's not. It's not that. Fuck it.
Reverb.
No. Retard.
Retard, yeah. It's a good retard. We should just use it as a retarded adjective.
Oh, man. No, I was thinking of a noun, though. Fuck, this is so bad because this happens all the time in podcasts. Like when I listen to a podcast and I forget a word, and it pisses me off because like I want to know what the word is.
Well, a big part of it is also how quickly you can recover or reroute around it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I think a big part of the reason why like guys like me are able to like post the way I do now in public with impunity, it's because all the people who would like those insignificant, average, boring white girls who would just like adopt every mental illness in the book. The reason why that's going out of fashion, it's because they're old now.
yeah,
You
definitely.
can't be doing that shit in your fucking 30s.
I
It's
agree.
not a fucking good look.
A lot of things that we thought were broader cultural trends really were just social fads among millennials. And because the fad took the form of behavior, of statements, of affectations, as opposed to actual physical fashions, it was a lot harder to pin it down as such.
Yeah.
Um, that also makes it more difficult. Like, saw a trailer recently for some movie I already forgot the name of, which is like a modern day teenager sent back to a high school in like 2004 or
Yeah.
2003. And for the most part, the fashion was not, it was difficult to see how it was different than modern fashion.
Shit,
Like,
I think it was Retort, by the way.
Retort, that make oh fuck, that makes a lot of sense. I should have thought of that one. Retort, definitely. Whereas like a movie set in 2004 about going back to 1984 would have very obvious aesthetic and technological differences. The only big difference was a lack of cell phones.
Yeah. Made us all retorted.
Yeah, it did. We're just all huddled down in our retortuses.
Just retorting at each other.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like any triple A game that promises a dynamic combat system,
Yeah.
and it's just Arkham Asylum, where you press one button to counter and then another button to do flashy
attack,
moves. When you're doing a sick XXX combo.
Yeah. Shit. Fucking word games, man. Hopefully, I don't know. Do you think humans could ever be telepathic?
Maybe. I mean, we're effectively telepathic now due to technology.
Yeah, that's true. We can transmit thoughts to each other without really saying words. That's true.
Yeah. Now, admittedly, maybe it's not like and ostensibly you're able to understand other people's thoughts from a distance, but I don't know how much you actually do. As I've gotten older, and perhaps, I don't know, some of it's wisdom, some of it's just having grown up in this milieu, I now see through, like, a lot of people, whatever they're posting, I just think, okay, this is about some insecurity of theirs. It's because of something that annoyed them in life. This person is posting like this because they're 20.
Yeah.
I know it's a very standard aging person maneuver to pull, but it is a good one to just brag about the wisdom of age.
The thing about aging these days, I think, I think, I think people are splitting. Like it's very pronounced in our generation specifically, but as the generations go on, it's going to get more pronounced. Like you're going to have more cases of like 20-year-olds looking like they're fucking 30, and you're going to have more cases of 30-year-olds looking like they're 20.
Yeah.
I think like if you're aligned, like if you hold inner alignment, you're gonna have a lot less to stress about, and you're probably gonna like physically age slower.
Yeah.
And time's gonna move faster for you too. So because like time flies when you're having fun or when you're stimulated or engaged. So not only is time going to be moving faster for you, but you're going to be aging slower as well. You're basically living on like a different dimension of time. And then there's other people where they're aging super fast, and it's gonna be like every minute. It's like an hour for these people.
Every minute is an agonizing hour for these people.
And I think that
they're
really,
already trapped in the time chambers.
And doesn't it make sense that makes you age faster? Like,
isn't you're just experiencing so much more per every minute.
It's
Your minute goes further.
Yeah, it's such a good correlation too.
Yeah.
But the question is, like, which would you rather choose? Like, I'd rather see more, happier,
Yeah. I spent enough time agonizing over things. I'd much rather be happy at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's not to be happy about? We got the breast.
We have breast milk everywhere.
We got
because of RFK Jr., now you can go and buy raw breast milk at every grocery store.
We got the best president in the world.
Yeah. Yep, our best president in the world, Joseph Robinette Faggot. I'm sorry, that was uncalled for.
No, wait, Donald Trump?
No. Well, the president's still Joe Biden.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Joe Biden.
Ostensibly, the president is Joe Biden.
Didn't he put on the MAGA hat?
Yeah, he did. What a great video that was. After he left the campaign, he euthanized by 10 years. He just suddenly was much younger, sprier, wittier, more coherent.
Yeah, he was pissed off. He was like, "You guys fucked me over."
Really, they did. This is a really I don't know.
Joe
Politics
Biden would have
talks where
won.
People are kind of bored. Yeah, Joe Biden would have won. Or Hunter Biden would have won. Politics talk might be tedious, but this has been a really fun election, and it's fun to think about, and also to wonder what actually was going on in the Biden White House.
Well, it makes you wonder, like, what would have been the first female president like? And what I don't like about it is that no matter how bad it would have gotten with, like, Kamala as president,
Yeah.
they would have always been able to say, you know how much worse it would have been if Trump was president?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Oh, that's a good point.
No matter how awful.
Oh, that would have been such a good excuse they would have had.
No matter how fucking shitty things got with Kamala, like, they would have always just like had that card in the back pocket. It's like, yo, it would have been way worse with Trump.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I don't have to fucking hear that.
I'm so glad Trump didn't get shot, because otherwise we'd be seeing gore of it all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
You would have just had people sending boomer MAGA cons pictures of Trump's exploding head.
You know what? It would be funny if Trumpers pulled that card. Like, if it got really bad with Trump and everyone was like, well, you know how much worse it would have been with Kamala.
That's true. That's true.
That would be...
Man, the Kamala campaign apparently blew $1 billion.
So, whatever. That's Trump changed these people.
Yeah, I know. But it was a question of, like, what was her campaign even spending money on? It was like booking Megan Thee Stallion.
Well, also, someone has to pay for all of her daiquiris and...
Yeah. I mean, she must be a wine drinker, seems likely. Since, I don't know, I bet she's on... Do you think she's on Xanax and alcohol, or just alcohol?
I don't know. I don't presume to know anything about her. I just saw that one speech where she was, like, slurring her words.
That was such a weird... The recent one?
Yeah.
That must have been released as a hit piece against her. It is posted by the official Democrats account. It was definitely designed to knife her so she doesn't come back.
Honestly, though, I've never empathized with her throughout, like, my whole, like,
Life.
time knowing her. Yeah. Except for that one moment. Like, that was the time when I empathized with her the most, because first of all, I've been there.
Yeah.
And second of all, it's like she literally reminded me of, like, so many of my friends, single moms, you know, who were like, I just listened to, there were so many, I couldn't tell you how many times, like, I was at my friend's house and a lot of my friends, like, had single moms.
Yeah.
But, like, so many times where I could just tell she was coming home having a really bad day, smoking a cigarette or something in the kitchen with a beer, and they all do this, like, all the Italian single moms, Italian Irish single moms, and then it's like they're holding back tears, just like sardonically joking around and shit, and I'm like, fuck. What does sardonic mean? I think I used that word correctly.
It's
right?
like sarcastic. It's similar to sarcastic with some difference, I forget.
Like bleakness.
Yeah, it's less harsh or attacking, I think, but it's like sarcasm.
Yeah, it was that. That's who Kamala reminded me of in that video.
Interesting. I can definitely see that. It's interesting. She doesn't have any kids of her own, just stepkids.
Yeah, America was her baby. America was her baby.
Her baby betrayed her. Wonder how her life would have been different if instead of, like, dating Willie Brown, she had dated, like, Gavin Newsom.
I don't know who any of these fuckers are.
Okay, fair.
I only know actors, some musicians,
people who matter.
No, it's not that. Yeah, I guess you could say that. No, it's just because I don't even respect actors that much. It's just growing up, that's who I had the most. I guess that's the type of media that I was most engaged with, because unlike, like, the white kids who grew up in this country already, who basically were born innate, like, no, like, they knew what to do as kids, to be American. I didn't, so I had to, like, learn from movies and shows. So I was like deeply engaged with this shit, and that's how I became so. Well, I don't even think I'm that, like, culturally fluent in Americana. It's just
but you did actively study it to assimilate to American culture.
Not even actively study. Well, it's like, yes, maybe at first I didn't even know that's what I was doing as a little kid. I just wanted to be what the other kids were into.
Yeah.
But then somewhere along the line I fell deeply in love with some of this shit. Like, well, not maybe it was just more like I was deeply enamored with it. And suffice to say, I was also deeply inspired by a lot of this shit, you know? Still am, honestly. So yeah, like I'll never say no to like an engaging American. Like no matter even if it's like schlock, like I'll still fucking
Yes, there's a lot of mid-tier things or forgotten things you're very familiar with. I've noticed
yeah. It's like more like
movies that were totally forgotten when they came out in like 2005. You'll be very familiar with.
because I caught a lot of it.
Yeah,
I mean, because I think that's
and
maybe
things that might have washed over other people. You saw as something valuable to take in to understand American culture.
maybe a lot of it was also because I had like a very like not so great like living condition growing up as a teen and as
Yeah.
like an adolescent. Like I didn't have many friends, you could say.
Yeah,
I did have friends, just not like an active social life where I was like going out and doing like bad shit with all the other middle school kids, which is why I ended up doing really bad shit in high school. But I digress. Middle school, even in like late elementary school, I was like spending most of my time at home, but with a cable connection.
Yes.
So I was watching everything. I was watching all the only things I didn't like were like shows where some white person was speaking behind like a podium or something or like a fucking
See,
newscasting stand. Like I didn't.
You're just talking about the West Wing. At the time, it was just the West Wing.
No. I wasn't into like talk shows.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
I wasn't into talk shows, late night shows, early shows, or game shows even. But I was
Yeah.
into all TV shows. I was into all the movies. I think at some point as a kid, it's like you get an idea, you like what you like you know when it comes to cable, because back then cable didn't have that many channels. It had a lot, just not that many. And then you only had access to all of them because no family in their right mind, like no middle class family, is going to pay for like every single fucking package like
Yeah.
available. But yeah, so I was, I watched what I could, and I fell in love with a lot of this shit, especially like the stuff I saw on HBO, Showtime. I think that, that does something to you growing up as a kid. I'm not gonna say it gives you like high kino, like highbrow instincts or taste, but it does open you up to things,
Yeah, it's a more mature, more complex writing. It was also shot very well.
Yeah.
More far. I mean, modern TV, modern streaming shows are everything is shot like shit now. This is a very common complaint that I probably have made here before.
Is that true?
I definitely think so. I don't even care if it is it's objectively true. B, it's subjectively true for everything I've seen.
I mean, there's some that were just like shot egregiously well, like which is not even makes it like kind of tacky, like Wes Anderson.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's wonderful. It has real design and concept behind it. But so many things now are not properly lit.
But
the staging and blocking is terrible.
I mean, maybe you're right. Like, you're probably right, honestly. If I paid attention to most of the shit that comes out today, I'd be like, wow, this is actually pretty awful. But I want to say that it's not that hard to like get these concepts down. It's not hard to establish contrast. It's not hard to use like natural lines in your shot. It's not hard to like.
No, it's not. And it was all stuff that the hackiest TV shows from the 70s often had better technique. It looks like shit. It's very cheap, but it's still shot with better technique just because there's a baseline of competence.
Well, I mean, could we say, to be fair?
Yeah, and you can tell the difference when you see something that's truly amateur. You can immediately recognize, but...
Well, could we say, to be fair, that TV shows work on like a different ecosystem than movies?
Yeah, television is a producer's and to a lesser degree writer's medium.
Because
film is very much the director and cinematographer's medium.
Yeah. Pretty much. Although I do see that, because right now we're at a time when like you have like one person business models capable of like generating millions in revenue. It's only going to be a matter of time before you get the first person who generates a one person business that generates $1 billion in revenue every year.
Yeah.
That's going to happen sooner than later, I think. So it's only going to be a matter of time before you get like one man producers.
Yeah. I'll be curious. Yeah. When people make enough money and people have enough ambition, a lot of rich
and
people,
technology.
Yeah. Let's be curious. Maybe eventually the advancement of technology will allow creative flourishing, but
I think it already is.
Any examples or just...
Well,
I guess musically, because now for a long while music is something that one guy...
No, I mean, I could give you a very nuanced example.
Sure, please.
Like, I do martial arts.
Yes.
I go to this dojo, this school in Manhattan, and I've been there for like a good number of years now. So I came up with this idea. I was like, I wonder what it would take to like just make like a documentary just for posterity's sake.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was trying to figure out how to do it. I was like, I could probably figure out how to do this. You know, if it's just for YouTube or something that I could maybe work off of Kickstarter off of or something, you know. But
Yeah.
I just, all I did was like ask ChatGPT like to prompt me well, I prompted it to spin me up like a synopsis or like a like a synopsis for, and then I gave it like basic information about the dojo,
Yeah.
and it gave it to me great, like it gave it to me down pat basically. And I then asked it, can you generate a production plan, and it did that too. I gave it a list of all my equipment, did it. So yeah, it's like that's not
That's true. That's a good point, and there is a lot through careful. I mean, it is fascinating how ChatGPT has taken, in many ways, taken the place of search engines, especially given search engines suck now.
well, it's been integrated into search engines basically.
That's true.
Yeah, if it was but okay, so it's like I don't, I really want people to kind, I guess I should have people like kind of open up to the idea of it. It's like what you should really use AI for isn't necessarily to create for you. I think the best use of it is to help it teach you things. Like no, like basically help you,
Engage in a Socratic dialogue with your AI.
yeah, help basically it also helps, it helps you learn things. You know, it gives you like structured study guides. It could even teach you how to study something. Like that's pretty much what I've had the most use for it. Like the most effective use for it.
That's interesting. That makes sense. It is good at in natural language organizing things you need to know, giving you a quick feedback. Things that, like, say, with the search engine or older research, you had to extrapolate or read between the lines, kind of an actual back and forth questioning dialogue with an AI, and it will generate fairly reasonably like lists, like what you just mentioned.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it's pretty good for that. And
It's a further refinement of the information available on the internet.
yeah. Also, you know, like I'll read books. You know, like
Yeah.
I'll read some like dense, fucking, really heavy books. Like right now, I'm reading I'm reading Whitehead. I don't know
Yeah.
why I tried, but you know, like
Evan Lenoir?
what?
Whitehead. Is it Evan Lenoir?
No, Alfred North Whitehead,
Oh, okay.
the the guy who
I was
came
thinking of Bryce had revisited. Go on. Sorry.
he was the guy who came up with the speculative philosophy, or the framework for speculative philosophy. And he has this book called Process and Reality, and it's like a very dense book. But what I could do usually do, it's like since like books like that are so like well segmented,
Yeah.
I could just be like, all right, what is section 1 of chapter 1 like summarized in a way that's easy to understand, and then it would spit it out, and then I would read again, like read what I just reread what I just read, and I'll be like, oh, okay, that's what he was saying. So that it makes things like that a lot easier.
Interesting. That makes a lot of sense too, of its viability as a study aid.
Yeah, I do that. I also do that with a lot of courses that I take with music theory. I definitely use ChatGPT a lot for music theory courses. I take a lot of courses.
Yes, I know. Part of your self cultivation. You're very Taoist in a lot of ways.
No, the courses is just purely just because
Curiosity, interest. Is
no,
cool.
it's common sense to me. It's like if I want to learn how to do a thing, I should take a course on how to do the thing.
Yeah.
I guess most people just don't know the thing they want to do.
That's true. They don't know the thing they want to do. They don't know the most elementary basic steps, or they aren't willing to engage in taking up this journey.
Well, it's commitment, and the problem with commitment is commitment means elimination of alternatives, and that's scary.
True. And we live. A lot of people are choosing to forego having a life in favor of having the potential of every or any life.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like that's
I can relate, but yeah.
Well, most people can. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're like this, you're never going to get to flesh out or actualize
anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just always in indecision. You're always standing in the shopping, in the supermarket alley, looking at all the different kinds of cereal, wondering which one you're going to buy.
Yeah. You should really buy what'll put like $400 or $800 in your pocket. I guess that's the idea. But yeah, this blog, man, I'm excited for this blog. Definitely gonna I don't know. It's definitely going to be easy for me, I think, to come up with shit to write about.
Yeah. Well, we already have a bunch of standard things that we've talked about. I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of tarot reading or spiritualism things.
I don't know. All I'm just gonna keep posting what
Riffing, yeah, posting, and it allows you. It also, I guess, the blog format, which is an older internet format, pressures or forces or encourages.
No. I'm saying I'm gonna keep posting what I always post, but whatever gets traction, like whatever resonates with people, I'm gonna expand on it.
Yeah.
And that's I think gonna be novel because blogging, like you said, is an old trade, but mixed with social media, integrated together.
Blogging, as I said, the nature of it led to longer, more thoughtful pieces. Maybe more rambling or repetitious, but still. Something about the length of the format, the longer time spent contemplating things, going back and forth.
Blogging is really
pleasant.
I mean, here,
lacking.
It's funny. They say with blogging, it's like they say, oh, it's good to have a niche, right? When you blog.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about podcasting is, yeah, it is a niche interest in and of itself to podcast, to do a podcast. So it's like when you do a blog about your niche being podcasting and all the things you talk about on the podcast, which is anything really.
Yeah.
Then it becomes its own exponential feedback loop, It's almost like it's like an ecosystem like that feeds itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's like what I'm most interested in about. It's like,
and also, you you recreate your own internet world that's separate from the discourse, that's separate from the news feed.
Meanwhile, it's also has to do with the Discord and the newsfeed, because on the podcast you talk about the Discord and the newsfeed. It's just one degree of separation, but it's also deeply connected.
Anything that's mentioned on the podcast, you can flesh out on the blog,
and vice versa.
Yeah, or you can also refer to things if you want to quickly get across a concept. You write an explainer, an outline. You have a bunch of graphs on the blog. You drop a blog post, and then on the podcast, you kept referencing information in the post.
Yeah, exactly. Or I could just read a post on Facebook. I was like, look at this fucking idiot. And then I'll just it's like some person that I'll not name said, and I quote, like this, and here's what I have to say about it. This person fucking sucks.
Yes.
You could have fun with it, really. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a good time. I think it'll be a lot more productive than just shit posting on the internet.
Yeah, it also is easier to organize. There's something so as ephemeral as the internet is, shit posting is the most ephemeral material on it. It has a greater weight to it.
Yeah, and what's cool is like it's not like it's on Blogspot or anything like that. Like this is real, like really my
You can make sure it stays up forever, unlike a lot of websites or like Blogspots, old live journals, all these different mediums, all the message boards. They just went up in smoke, into the ether, into bits. So many websites have a lot of dead links on them. A huge portion of the internet is dead. News articles, blog posts, Google image search results. You read something from 2012 on, I don't know, Cracked or something, and all the links are dead.
Yeah. Well, I will also say
having your own website prevents that. But anyway, go on.
Well, the most valuable thing that you could ever collect on the internet, besides money, honestly,
is cloud.
No, it's not. Like people, which is actually a really funny scam. No. I mean, it's a funny hoodwinked scam. Like everyone collectively got hoodwinked. Like this whole influencer generation. Like that's bullshit. Like the truth is, followers are not that valuable. Like having like millions of followers on YouTube is not that valuable when YouTube can at any given time shut you out.
That's true.
That means you lose 1 million followers within a fucking instant. Same with any other social media platform.
Stefan Molyneux used to be a big internet talking head, and when he was removed from YouTube, all that, suppressed, removed from Twitter, he just disappeared. Go on.
So I'll ask you, what's the workaround for this? What's more valuable than followers on the internet? And not
having an actual presence, an actual persona?
No.
An actual website?
Not even that. Like I'm saying, like what you can collect from people.
Mm.
It's their email addresses.
Mm.
The email address is the most valuable thing you could cultivate and compile, because that's something nobody can take away from you.
Mm.
That's something that everybody's gonna have. Like,
That's
no matter
why political campaigns love mailing lists.
that's why every serious entity, company, organization, business, they love email lists, because unlike followers on social media, and it's true where they said in the future everyone gets their 15 minutes of fame.
Also, everyone keeps their email address from their teens. People don't have rarely have multiple email addresses unless it's for work or a devoted thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, other than that, besides that, like, just having a list of other people's email addresses, like, that's like the Rolodex of the modern world. You know, like, if you have like email addresses, whenever you release something new, you could just like send out like a mass newsletter. You could send out like what are you looking for, cigarettes?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could send out like a
These are too harsh. Smoke in here.
No, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I figured. Just checking. Email list. You can send out an email blast. You can communicate with anyone across the ages. You could theoretically communicate with someone in 1998.
Okay, so now what does this have to do with the blog? Well, the blog, it's when you have your own website, it's very easy to put in a little screen like contact us, subscribe to our newsletter. Do you want updates on new Terrorisk content? Not just our podcast on YouTube, but also music released by Chris Komodo, his friends. Or what about like cool
It's an entire media body, a media ecosystem.
It's a nexus. See?
Oh, that's why you have Nexus on here.
Well, I mean, now see, I want you to get excited about it. You know,
okay, I'm following now. I'm following
because it's not just about a blog, and it's not just about the podcast. It's a lot of things. You know, like.
It's an entire internet community. It's an entire lifestyle.
Yo, how about this? What if I open up like an e-shop, right? And you write ebooks, or any one of us were to write ebooks, or any of us were to write like exclusive albums or something, or any of us were to like.
I lit that too early. I wasn't quick enough. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Just ignited in my hand. Burn my thumb. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, like, what if? Yeah. I hope that was worth it.
Yeah, but I do it all the time. I only screw up occasionally. But yes, it was worth it. Thank you for teaching me. I was talking into my cigarette and not the mic. But thank you for teaching me that trick, Chris.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll just yeah, all right. So what if I set up a merch shop, you know, like.
Yeah. Get your Terrorisk merch, your hoodies, your hats.
Or it's like, again, I could distribute my friends' books there. You got to get into.
Yeah, I get you.
Start writing, man.
Yeah.
I'm literally offering the fucking platform, not just to myself, but to, like, you know, people that I roll with. So
you and your friends, yes.
Yeah. I'm not even asking people to be beholden to me for it. They should, but they don't have to be. I'm just saying, it's like, I want this to happen, so it's gonna happen.
I appreciate your optimism and your drive, and also organizing it.
Well, it's
all. What is the Terrorisk vision?
I mean, at first it was just a blog, but once I realized at least 100 people, more than 100 people, would be into listening to it every week, and I know I could do other things, like I could make music, I could edit videos. I'm pretty athletic. I could do something with that, you know. I could make content. I have a lot of energy. I could reach out to people. I could get people's takes on things, open up conversations, maybe open up space for other people to have conversations.
An ever expanding nexus of conversation, of human interaction, connection.
Yeah,
isn't that what we're all really looking for?
Yeah, pretty much, because that's all that's going to be left once, like, everyone's basic needs are fulfilled.
And they basically already are fulfilled.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
In fact, people's luxury needs are often fulfilled.
This is what I'm saying. Why do you think I'm doing what I'm doing? Because it's like, what else are we going to do, really? Live hedonistically? Live to, like, batter our enemies further beat a dead horse? No, I want to make
People aren't even good at being hedonistic with all the options available. Yeah. You take any 18th century French nobleman and you move him to today, he'll be a much better hedonist than anyone who's aspiring to a life of pleasure.
And another thing I like about the Terrorisk brand is that it's a good avenue for me to share my way of life. And I know it's not for everybody, but I know it on a fundamental level it works if you, like, commit to it on a certain level.
Yeah.
So I don't mind like using it as an avenue to express it. And if it's a lifestyle kind of thing, that includes everything. That includes music, fashion, art,
Yeah.
you know, the practicality of living, pretty much. Inner and outer.
The way.
The way, exactly. And that's pretty much what I study, so I could share that. And I could share it in like a not so obvious, not always so clinical. I could be very clinical about shit sometimes.
Yeah.
If I have to be. If I know I
Yes.
have to be, yeah. So
But
yeah.
it's a good life. A life worth living.
I mean it's pretty much everyone's destiny unless they
Yeah.
want to live unless they want to die an early death, you know.
Yeah. I don't know, be curious. Curious what the next few years bring.
Yeah. Fuck. And yeah, I gotta really start like buckling down and like writing more.
Same. I need to buckle and write down anything or do anything.
Yeah, I gotta
Let
lock
far
in.
too much
We gotta
time
lock in.
pass. I do have a lot to learn for someone who's spent his whole 20s and half his 30s doing nothing, quite consciously. But still,
You should chat with me more. Like we should be in.
you're right. We should.
We should be in a chat room of some kind.
Or a more consistent flow of conversation. You're right, to keep elevator boosting and bouncing back and forth.
Yeah. You know what? I'll like workshop stuff with you first before.
That sounds like a great idea. And also workshopping, as we've said before, subject matters. I feel like when we were doing that of having a semi-organized stream, it went by particularly fast and coherently from one subject to the next.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I don't know. Like, I'm not thinking about the monetization too much, but there definitely is potential for it.
I agree. In the future.
All the relationships that I would want are like the notebook brands that I use and shit. But I know it's like most likely
Far away, if ever.
gonna be ending up with like hymns.
Yep, you're going to end up with boner pills. We're going to have an economy entirely of podcasters supported by ad revenue from boner pills.
You know what's fucked up about it? It's
What?
because it's working. Because they're clearly getting more money if they have more money to spend on more.
Is it just venture capital? Are these businesses actually working? Is Blue Chew a financial success?
Yo.
I wouldn't be surprised
Look,
if it is.
this is mildly
Okay.
tangential.
Yeah.
But
Tangential. Fuck.
just imagine a boner pill.
Yeah.
Right?
Transgental. Go on, sorry. Fuck.
Just imagine a boner pill that just works 100% of the time, but there's only one side effect. It makes you lose your hair. Now, what if I also produce a pill that makes you regain your hair, but the only side effect is it gives you erectile dysfunction? But I have a pill that makes your penis hard, but the only side effect is you lose your hair. However, you see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
I think this is what they do.
I think so. You have to take both pills, whether you want hair or whether you want dick length.
Because isn't it funny? Like that's the two big things that's their two big ticket items. It's the boner pill and the hair pill.
Well, it's because they have a lot of like impotent bald guys, I guess.
No. Balding means you have too much testosterone.
Yeah, it does. So it shouldn't be a problem. Women perhaps should gravitate to bald men because they're more virile.
They are.
Look
They
at
do.
all my hair. I have to be impotent
They
with
do.
all this hair I have.
You know what? It's not even the bald guys try to riz out. It's like they could be like some short, stubby, fat bald guy, but I think they give off some kind of pheromone or
Yeah.
like some magnetic aura.
Animal magnetism.
Yeah, we're like women are like, oh yeah, that's what I want.
This is tangential. This is a tangent. Hunter Biden pardoned yesterday. Would your dad pardon you in that kind of circumstance?
Hell yeah,
Same for my dad.
hell yeah, he would.
My dad told me when I was like 10 or whatever, if I ever committed a crime, he would take the fall for me.
My dad would do it for me, no questions asked, because none of his shit was a violent crime. Like I
Yeah.
think my dad would overlook any except for like rape or like
Yeah.
like child molestation or something. But anything like that was just like mildly creepy or just straight up irresponsible, my dad would like overlook it. He would be like, yeah.
Yeah, same.
But what did Hunter Biden do exactly? Like I don't think he did anything that bad, did he?
It was like a gun charge that was like
Okay.
lawfare fishing for a
Didn't
charge.
he fuck his niece or something?
That I don't know. The actual thing, the real thing, is all corruption because Hunter Biden is the bag man for the Biden family. It's stuff like him being bribed by Ukrainian oil Burisma, having getting a lot of money for doing nothing, and being a board member, a chairman of the board or whatever on it.
Yo,
He would do pickups for the family of
if
money.
Trump could pardon my boss, Biden could pardon his son.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. It's a cool maneuver. It's a very ethnic, white, very Irish thing to do. He just loves his son so much.
I mean,
I guess the thing, if you truly love your son, you would move him to a compound for the duration of the presidency and just feed him hookers and blow and keep him preoccupied so he's not causing trouble. When cocaine was found in the White House, they didn't say whose cocaine it was, but it was obviously Hunter's cocaine.
It's actually interesting how pardons are becoming such a inclusive aspect of the public purview.
Outside of politics, as a
social
concept, or just within the presidential pardon?
Before Trump, I did not think about presidential pardons.
Oh, that's been happening for decades, for well over a century.
I know, but with Trump, it's he really did it in a way that was highly conspicuous and blatantly.
As with everything in Trump, it's very conspicuous. But yeah, there was a ton of questionable pardons from Obama, Bush, Clinton, going back well over a century. In the 19th century, I think they really started picking up hundreds of pardons per president as they're leaving. But
I hope Trump doesn't pull a Bill Clinton and get caught with his pants down, literally.
Yeah, same. Hopefully he's past it at his age. And that's all because he doesn't have Blue Chew.
I bet you... Yeah, Trump doesn't need it because he was never...
He's so virile.
He never drank.
Yeah, never drank. He's a teetotaler. He probably is lying about cocaine use, but who knows? Or stimulants. Maybe it's Adderall or something. Or maybe it's just naturally like that.
I don't know. I mean, I could imagine when you're a kid growing up rich, you look at anyone who does drugs, look at these fucking...
His brother died of alcoholism or issues related to alcoholism, so I think it really put him off from alcohol and also hard partying.
Yeah. No,
really
good for him.
On him.
Good for him. And so what? He grabbed a couple of pussies,
Yeah.
I've had girls grab my dick before, and no one called them out.
Very true. Yeah, his philandering, thrice married, but it looks like this time it's working out. I don't know, he's just so much older too.
Oh man. I really hope the Republicans run Tulsi Gabbard.
I mean, she's being appointed to what, CIA or Homeland Security, something like that.
Some crazy intelligence position.
Yeah. Tulsi Gabbard, yeah. What a fun administration he has coming in.
Yeah.
It probably won't be as interesting once it's in office. It'll just be back to rigmarole, but still.
Oh, well. I guess we'll see. I don't know.
It just feels like I've said this before, it's such a drastic change compared to the last time he won in 2016. Everything was so heated at the time, and this isn't at all.
Well, yeah, because I think the defeat is so complete.
Total.
Yeah.
The popular vote victory, which when you account for election rigging, he really won 55% of the popular vote.
I mean, it was funny too. After all the votes were tallied, virtually every state was Republican.
Yeah, huge electoral college landslide, and then taking weeks later for California to count their votes.
Very sus.
Very sus, but also, I mean, it's just so incompetent. Even if everything's on the level, you have African countries that are semi-failed states that get all their election counting done in one day.
Yeah. Let's see. For the next 4 years, what do I want to do? I definitely want to try to monetize some internet content sooner than later so I could quit my fucking job.
Yeah.
And once I quit my job, I can make more. The question is, do I want to make internet I think I do, because I appreciate it as an art form. I mean, because it's such a polyrhythmic art form. It's so many different things that's moving at so many different paces. Maybe it's the age of the new Renaissance man.
Yes.
Or maybe it's the age of the Ubermensch that Nietzsche was talking about.
Perhaps. Certainly there's a lot of last men walking around.
Well, yeah.
Which is all the more reason to become an Ubermensch or to
I don't think
I
don't think I would ever identify as an Ubermensch, but
Yeah.
every time those like fucking Nietzsche breakdown videos show up on YouTube and I listen to it, I'm like, wow, it's almost like he read my mind, because it's like, yeah, we should strive, like, don't aim for happiness. Try to like choose your suffering, or else suffering will choose, and all this shit. And I was like,
all those aphorisms.
and I was like, that's how I've been living, man. Like, that's just
maybe it is just a natural, because all of his stuff is in response to
like
also the trends of
if you're not a
philosophy.
retard, you're just gonna naturally be that way.
Yeah, also trends of a industrialized society, but
And the death of God.
yes, the biggest one.
Yeah.
Brought on by technological and social
well,
change.
you know what's funny? Because like, as a rebellious person,
Yeah.
I think I'm ready to admit that about myself. Like, I do have a
But
rebellious
you
streak.
never admitted it before? You never realized it before?
Maybe I just never admitted it before. But like,
Interesting.
but with that, it's
You're far more rebellious than a lot of people who brand themselves as rebellious individuals.
that's funny. But as far as being rebellious goes, it's just what really would make me admit it is when I'm like when I find myself in a society where it's just blatant that like everyone just completely lost faith in God, and that's when I decide, you know what? Yeah, I am ready to accept God and take God.
Yeah,
That's how
it's
I
a
know.
great contrarian bit.
That's
That's
how
a great
I-
truth.
That's how I know I'm a very rebellious person, or very
Yeah.
That's how I'm ready to. That's because what I can't argue with that. It's like, why? Unless I was just. But then that made it like destiny almost. It It
Yeah.
almost made it seem like I was meant to be this way. Because of this, just so
Yeah.
I could find God at this time. Like.
Man, I'll send you a short story, which is about a society where hyper-efficient Buddhism has taken off and everyone is converting to it. And one guy, out of stubbornness, insists on being devoted to samsara.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
And he becomes a guru of samsara and of being devoted to tanha and holding on.
dude, I talk about this all the time. How like, it'd be sick, twisted, and ironic, but make perfect sense when you finally master life to the point where it's like, I don't have to escape anything. I'm fine right here. I don't need anything. That's when they take you out of it. That's when you get taken out. That's when you're ready to leave. Don't you think that makes the most sense?
Yeah, it does.
Though?
It would, yeah.
When you finally get to a point where it's like, fuck it. I'm okay. Like, I don't care. I got everything I need. I got all my limbs. I got food. I got water. I got shelter. I don't give a fuck. Like, I could do this. I could do this all day.
Yeah.
I could do this for many lifetimes. I could do this as many times as you fucking throw at me, universe. Come on, let's do this. I'm game. You game. And then right as you fucking sincerely adopt that state, the universe is like, oh yeah, pluck, and then you get taken to
You're
the next.
enlightened. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucked up. It's twisted. It's sad. It's ironic, but it makes perfect sense. It's like it's sensible. It's fair, And I'm like, fuck. And we're back.
We're back.
Okay, so I just
With
want
the
to.
sighting part 2 of the Terrorisk podcast. Go on, man.
Oh man, it would be so good if I could like. You know what? We should do that. Like,
What's that?
We should try to figure out a way we could like get 4 hours in a night so that we can milk 2 episodes out of it.
Oh, true. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Oh,
One
I heard
long
that. I
haul.
heard that's cheating.
Oh, is it? I mean, probably you just get more and more exhausted too. Like how long you can talk. I mean, obviously Joe Rogan gets people on for 3 hours, but be right back. Ice.
Oh man, Carmen's gonna get some ice. This is why I emptied out the ice tray, because I knew that we would be going through that ice we would be going through that ice faster than I don't want to make up some kind of like analogy that it always comes off like racist or something. I was just trying to say like,
What's that? A racist analogy? I had to rush back when I heard my favorite word, racism.
oh no, it's like we go through I was gonna say we go through ice faster than we go through
Eskimo pussy.
No, I'm saying like we go through ice faster than, and I was gonna say something like racist, like faster than like a crackhead goes through some stupid shit like
That wasn't even racist, but yeah.
It is racist because you think of crackhead. What race do you think of?
Dominicans
I was
and
thinking of
Puerto
I was
Ricans.
thinking of
No, I was
Arabic,
thinking of
Egyptian.
Chinese. I was thinking of Chinese. I was thinking of Hmong people from Cambodia.
I was thinking of Aboriginal.
Frisians off the coast of the Netherlands, or Frisians.
Do you think? Because we can both agree that
Mm-hmm.
drugs affect different ethnicities differently, right?
Oh, definitely.
All right,
Just look at how vulnerable Native Americans were to alcohol.
we're Asians.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Asians have a weird.
At least have a history, even if you get an Asian
Here's the
flush.
thing. I think Asians have a physical malrelationship.
Yeah, they
with
do.
Alcohol. Native Americans have a psychological malrelationship with alcohol.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I think that's
Because
a
with
good comparison.
alcohol, there's three kind of maladies. There's the physical, the mental, and the spiritual.
Yeah. Whereas their relationship with tobacco is much healthier, more natural than mine. As a white man, tobacco is my firewater,
Really?
as is heroin.
Yo, you know what? You just opened my consciousness
What's
up to right
that?
now. I've fallen down some rabbit holes on Facebook and Twitter by now.
Yeah.
Native American memes.
Yeah. Oh, you said more res memes.
Dude,
Reservation
they're
memes.
always about the degenerate uncle.
Yeah.
Like the degenerate.
all the molestation and all
It's
the
like-
abuse. Yeah.
It's like when you break up with when you're 14, you break up with your boyfriend, and the drunk uncle comes into the trailer, and it's like, dude, this is horrible. And then the movies try to make it look like, oh, the white man are the worst thing that happens to Native Americans.
Yeah. It's like there's a New Zealand film, Once Were Warriors, about the Maori. That's a lot like that, and a lot of drama like that within their community.
Yo, Sam Hyde apparently thinks Haka is gay.
Yeah, I was in favor of it when it was not being spewed everywhere, but now it's really played out. It really, Haka jumped the shark a long time ago.
Oh, you mean like Kamala Harris killed it?
No, not even Kamala Harris. Just like all the videos of people doing Haka and doing Haka in like corporate business environments and shit like that.
You know what? If we have to see like Haka dances broadcasted every day from in front of the White House, I would accept Tulsi Gabbard as president.
Yeah, same.
And then Vin Diesel would come and then film scenes from the next Fast.
I mean, The Rock, but yes, or Vin Diesel, but The Rock in particular.
Oh yeah, The Rock. No, The Rock isn't going to be in any more Fast movies because him and Vin Diesel.
Oh yeah, because they beefing.
Yeah.
It's a shame because he was good in them, but
Yeah, I can't believe I know this. Finally, I beat you to some useless celebrity bullshit.
that's true. You have
Finally.
yeah. And on the Fast franchise, no less, which which I've talked about, I'm sure at length here.
Well, I just watched all of them.
I haven't seen 10 yet. I was really disappointed in 9. 5 through 8 are my favorites, but
I think 1 to Tokyo Drift will always be my favorites.
I watched it much later. I started much later. I only started watching them because I was reading about people saying that the 5th one was unexpectedly good, and also
Do you know why I started watching them?
why?
Because my uncle, that was married to my paternal aunt, he was a professional mechanic that worked for Open Road Honda dealership in New Jersey, and he was like super into cars. He was like a super grease monkey.
Yeah.
So he was into cars. He drove like kind of like a decently tuned import car, not an import car, a decently tuned Japanese tuner car. And yeah, I watched Fast and Furious back in like 2005 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I really liked it as a kid.
Makes sense. I probably would have liked it as
Actually,
a kid.
I don't even know if I liked it as a kid, but I never, ever, ever, ever forgot it. It was one
Yeah.
of those unforgettable movies. Like compared to anything else I ever saw as a kid. Maybe if I saw American Graffiti, like before that, maybe I would have been like, oh, this is
This is what you associate with car culture.
Yeah.
I do like-
No. It's not what I associate with car culture at all. What I associate with car culture is like F1 racing,
That
like
makes sense.
kart racing. You know, because
Yeah.
I always thought that's what cars aspire to. Cars always like consumer cars, like cars we would drive or be able to drive. Always aspire to try to mimic like the cutting edge. Because my uncle wasn't a street race gearhead. He was into like cars. You know, like he wasn't type of music guy that's into punk bands. He's the type of music guy that's into like orchestras and shit.
Classical music, yeah.
But if you're into classical music, if you're not a dickhead and into classical music, then you're probably going to also be into some punk and some indie rock, you know?
Hmm.
And that's what my uncle was like. He was like one. I don't think he was a cool guy at all. I think he was like personally, I think he was a dick. But when it came to cars, I'm pretty sure he had like a real passion for it. Like he had like a
I
real,
believe. I mean, he was a mechanic.
yeah.
Um,
And it wasn't like a grumpy like a grumpy cold pat. It was like a childlike. Didn't talk about it much, but every time you
Interesting.
looked at him, he was like always like reading a car magazine, looking at car exhaust videos. Like he was just into it. He liked it.
yeah, I was gonna say I got into Fast and Furious because I was reading a review of the fifth one, and it said it's gone from being about cars to being a dumb, multi-ethnic, working-class James Bond. And I was like, that's such a fascinating concept. So I watched the fifth one first, and then I was like, I have to watch the rest of these.
I think the okay, so you're right. When you describe it like that, it is absolute bullshit. I think what they were supposed to go for.
I don't think it was bullshit. I like the change a lot. I think it's very fun and very silly.
No. You're right. You're right. I think it could come off like that, and I agree. I think when I first saw it, that's what I thought of as. But I think what they were actually going for, which is kind of tragic,
Yeah.
because they weren't classy enough to pull this off. What they were really going for was something like a. It wasn't supposed to be like a blue collar James Bond. It was supposed to be like a highbrow, high tech Italian job, or like they weren't.
It was definitely Italian job. The heists are very Italian.
They were supposed to be like the world's best thieves ever, and they just happened to all be wheelmen. Like imagine like the world's best thieves in the world were all car people, like wheel guys.
Yeah,
and that's what it was supposed to be, but. They couldn't help themselves because they're fucking American superstars. They couldn't help but add in gunfights and fucking add in hot bitches and add in crazy muscle fist fights, and that made it something completely different than what it was supposed to be in the concept. But then you add Vin Diesel, you add America, you add in tuner cars, you add in hot bitches that could barely act.
There's something D&D like, perhaps because of Vin Diesel about it. The party dynamics,
what
the
happened
slaying
was
bigger and bigger monsters.
When he goes from being just an act like the lead into being like a full-blown producer, that's what happens.
And it becomes a superhero film. Like the first one's about stealing DVDs, and then they're wrangling with nuclear subs.
This is why I'm strictly against lead actors being producers of the movie.
Yeah.
Like every time I see like, oh, Matt Damon as executive producer and starring Matt Damon, I'm like, get the fuck out. Like even I don't care if it's Brad Pitt. I don't care if it's George Clooney.
My complaint is only that the leads of these movies refuse to get beaten in fights, which make it less fun.
That's what I'm saying. It's never.
I hate
good.
that. I love the superhero part. I love the guns. I love them. I love the fact that suddenly they're dealing with multiple martial artists in different films. Actually, I'm not being ironic.
You know
I genuinely
no. To be fair, to your last point, where they said like how like when they're executive producers of the movies they lead, they never can lose a fight or they can never, but there is a caveat to that. The truth is they can't have it any other way. The only thing is there's two options. It's either that, like they get plot armor, or B, they die in the end.
That's true.
That's the only option.
Well, you can just no, there's another one, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger films. Arnold Schwarzenegger was always getting beaten up in a lot of his movies. Not like Terminator, but like, Total Recall, he's getting punched to the nuts constantly.
Yeah, but he wasn't producers of those movies.
No, that's true. But I mean, like, all these action stars would do a lot better to have movies where they get beat up and then they win.
Yo, I just came up with
Okay.
a possible reality that if it happened, I'll be so happy.
Go on.
If Adam Sandler produced a Happy Gilmore movie where the character dies at the end,
oh boy, yeah,
I would respect that so much.
It's something I feel like he would do too. Once 10 years.
Do that. Remember oh fuck! How could I forget Uncut Gems?
Oh, well, Uncut Gems, yeah, but that's not a Happy Gilmore production. But it's funny to think of Uncut Gems as a Happy Gilmore movie.
Is that the first movie where he dies at the end?
I don't know. Maybe there's something else, but I don't know. I'm not a big Adam Sandler fan, but I love Uncut Gems and Punch Drunk Love. Have you seen Punch Drunk Love?
Yeah, but it was like I saw it like so long ago. I probably forgot it.
Punch Drunk Love,
like
is great because he's playing the same character he normally does, but more like, as a. But he's genuinely like a mentally ill, weird, neurotic loser.
He's
playing the same Adam Sandler character, but it's in a Woody Allen movie.
All the movies where the funny man like isn't a serious movie, like it's very hit or miss. Like I'm gonna be straight. I don't like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Interesting.
I don't like that shit.
How about The Truman Show?
Yeah, I like The Truman Show. That was great.
Yeah.
But it's like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I mean, it's probably a solid movie, like on its own, objectively. It didn't hit for me personally.
Yeah.
I guess it's a chick flick, like really.
Kind of is, yeah. It's a film for a certain kind of guy who gets hung up on a bad ex-girlfriend.
That's every guy.
Yeah, I really
fucking-
like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless
You know what?
Mind.
Maybe there was a time when I watched the movie as a teenager where
Yeah.
it hit me like, in the chest. But then I was
Yeah.
like, didn't take that long for me to be like, this is just a typical fucking. This is very cliche.
It's just very masterfully constructed with a very interesting high concept.
Yeah. Oh man, could you imagine like what we'll be talking about if we ever got married? It's like remember when we used to watch shitty movies and like that was like the worst thing going on, and now it's like we have wives that we just want to like stab in the forehead with a kitchen knife.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're in a marriage, you're bonded with this other person. Your life becomes about them almost by nature.
Yo, the
That's
sick
the
and
whole
twisted.
point.
I think my worst case scenario is if I get married and I'm like, oh yeah, no, babe, let's go out to eat. Let's go to that place with the hand rolled gnocchi, and she'd be like, but you're supposed to do the podcast tonight with your friend Carmen. I was like, yeah, but that could wait. Come on, I do that all the time. It's like
This is the opposite of the expected conflict.
It's like, no, you should go do the podcast with Carmen, because like she would know. It's like if I don't do the podcast, then I'll turn into like a completely different person.
Well, that'd be helpful too, just to have someone to push you like that.
I mean, I guess in the certain context where if I did this podcast for profit, but I don't, it's like,
Yeah.
if you go to, like, I'm sure if you're watching this on YouTube, you would have noticed, like, if you go to the channel page and look at the bio, it literally says the most unmarketable podcast in the world.
Yes.
Which I don't even, because now at this point it just sounds disingenuous, because like I've been watching,
There's definitely a lot of things that are less marketable.
I've been watching a lot of other podcasts, and I'm like, and you know what's fucked up is like these people aren't even ugly. They're not even that retarded.
Yeah.
They're just so unpleasant. Like,
yeah, it's interesting how someone can be smart and still unpleasant.
No, I mean it's the podcast where they have like they're young 20 somethings, and it's like some racially ambiguous brown kid who's like good looking, and he's like he's dressed in like tacky but overpriced shit, and he's surrounded by half the table is like 6 of his fucking muscle browned muscle browned fucking dickhead boys.
The mystery muscle meat.
And the other half are like these fucking faceless but very skinny, big, slightly big, decently big boobed and little perky butted like sluts. You know, like, and they're just arguing about men and women. And
those suck. Whenever I see a clip, I've never listened to them. There's some Asian bitch wearing a
so you know what I'm talking about.
Wearing a World War I German hat, a pickelhaube, a helmet from World War One, the one with the spike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've never listened to it. I see it pop up. I'm like, nope, scrolling by. Nope, this is like a visual info hazard. I don't want to see
First of all, I just want to say that if you're a man and you expect a woman to go half on you on anything, you're not a man.
Well, it's just designed
That's not what men do.
to
Men do not
inflame.
let women. And then the guy's like, whoa. But first of all, just so you know, I have a cock and it's hard right now. Second of all, I work 9 to 5. I work 12 days a week.
Yeah.
I work 48 hours a day. All right. And you're going to sit there and tell me that I don't have a right to just rape you whenever I want.
Yeah.
And the girl will be like, listen, if I had it my way, men don't even deserve rights. And the guy will be like, listen, bitch, all right? I've raped like 36 women in my life. And like,
I guess
they
it gets
loved
views. It gets views, I guess. It's optimized.
I mean, it's like, it's you know what I'm saying? It's like both takes are so fucking
retarded.
and you're like,
That's the point, I guess, is that you can inflame both sides of the aisle or multiple sides. Or 3 if you include us.
oh my God. But this is, all right, so what we just said, this is why
I like the idea of a non-binary meathead who loves both of their sides, loves the brown mystery
First of
meat.
all, I want to say, I think he has every right to rape as many girls as he wants. Second of all, men don't deserve rights.
yeah, that's like such a perfect triangulation.
Oh man, this doesn't that sound like
That sounds delightful, but yeah,
this sounds like hell.
yeah, it does. Yeah,
I kind of really like that. Sounds like actual like that sounds like Jerusalem in the Crusader times.
Jerusalem wasn't that bad actually during the Crusades.
No, sorry.
But yeah, I know what you mean.
Right before I left to meet up with you, I was rewatching Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah.
Such a good fucking movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit. My favorite line was, God, it sucks that he died so early, but Liam Neeson's character was like, he was trying to teach his son how to, Orlando Bloom, he was trying to teach him how to sword fight, and his guy was like, his hand is injured, my lord. And he's like, I fought 3 days straight with an arrow through my testicle. Like,
Yeah.
it was a real line, and I was like, yo, that's a badass line.
Mm-hmm.
I respect Liam Neeson so much, even though he was profoundly racist.
That pisses himself in public.
That
Always
pisses himself in public.
Drunk Irishman pissing himself in public. What a surprise.
He was like, do you know why he's like branded as really racist?
His like, my friend got raped, so I walked around the streets looking for a black bastard to beat up.
That's exactly what it did.
Yeah, what a great line. What a great line.
What's even ballsier? Did you ever watch the show Atlanta?
No, I know of it.
That's
I know it's Don Glover's show. Yeah.
Yeah. So Liam Neeson had a cameo on that as Liam Neeson,
Mm.
and one of the characters in Atlanta is a black guy. He's a rapper.
Yeah.
And so he's a celebrity, and he's in a club in Amsterdam. He runs into Liam Neeson, and he's like, "Hey, you're that dude." And he's like, "Yeah, it's me." And you're that rapper. And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, and he got to go on his little monologue, and he's like, there was that whole debacle of people thinking I'm racist because a friend of mine got raped, and and he said the whole thing in the show, like word for word, beat for beat, and he goes, and you black people, you tried to ruin my career, not that you succeeded. And that was like the last thing he said. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
what I respected him a lot for that. That was
It's fascinating how his career takes off in old age.
That was literally like Kevin Spacey when he made that that little weird infomercial troll bit.
That was such a bizarre thing. It's like, I've been accused of rape. I'm going to respond in character as Frank Underwood.
That's exactly
and
what that
also
was.
just be openly gay now. It's a fascinating retort.
That's exactly what that was, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Liam Neeson did that in
Yeah.
China. Oh man, it was funny. Very funny. I didn't like Atlanta though. I didn't like that show. I thought it was.
I haven't watched it.
I did like Atlanta better than anything Keenan. Fucking what's his name? Jordan. No,
Peele?
Jordan Peele. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Atlanta better than anything Jordan fucking Peele ever made.
Jordan Peterson Peele.
You ever watch any of his movies? You probably watch all of them.
No, I haven't watched all of them. I haven't seen Nope. Get Out.
But you saw Get Out?
It's okay. It's something that like got praised so highly because it came out when it did. It was like properly positioned during the Trump years to get a lot of praise.
Yo, dude, I think I'm brainwashed, man. Like,
Why?
I don't know if I could appreciate a movie without a hot white bitch in it.
Perhaps, or like just an individualized fetish.
You know what? They should make a, what's that model? The Bechdel test?
Yeah.
They should have like a Bechdel test, but for like a hot white woman.
Yeah, go on.
No,
Two
it's
hot
exactly-
white women need to be in the movie, or just one?
No, I'm saying like what's the criteria for the Bechdel test?
Two female characters are talking, and it's not about a male.
All right, so my test, the Chris Komodo test,
Yeah.
would be any demographic characters not talking about a hot white woman.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that like that.
Like what? Name one movie.
Total Recall.
You're saying there's not one scene where two characters were talking about a hot white woman.
Oh, fuck no. Fuck, that's a terrible example, probably.
That's what I'm saying.
The Thing.
They were talking about a hot white woman.
Who?
There was a hot white woman in the cast, wasn't there?
Not in the original. It was a male-only cast, the original one with Kurt Russell.
The new one had a fucking hot. Of course,
Well, yeah.
Of course. But they corrected it. See, they corrected it with the new one. They added.
No,
a
they
hot
made
one.
it worse by adding a woman.
No shit. This is what I'm.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. It's not a good thing. If it doesn't pass the Chris Komodo test, it's not good.
No, the original's great. The remake's bad.
Because the
Remake's-
remake passed the Chris Komodo test. That's what makes if the movie.
Okay, if they're talking about a hot white woman, then it's bad.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
if the
fair.
movie passes the Chris Komodo test, it's a bad movie. The Chris Komodo test. This could be a blog post.
Maybe.
Anyway, the Chris Komodo test. The criteria is as follows: 2 characters of every demographic
Of every demographic at once.
any demographic at any
Yeah.
given time, any single given time, talks about a white woman, a
Yeah.
hot white woman. It does not pass the Chris Komodo test. No, it does pass. If they talk about a hot white woman, it passes the Chris Komodo test.
Okay. But the Seven Samurai, they never mention a hot white woman.
That's why it's a great. That's why it's a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
What other movie? I guess that makes every kung fu movie.
Yeah. By definition, there's definitely a bunch of bad ones.
What's the worst kung fu movie you've ever seen?
Fuck. That's actually a hard one. Because I've deliberately
But they turned out being really good.
I deliberately sought out the best of them. Ones that just were bland, I skipped over because I didn't watch a ton in childhood.
So even the worst ones you've seen weren't bad enough to really stick out.
Yeah.
As, terrible.
They're just okay.
You know why? It's because Asians are so anal about doing everything.
I know they made so many. There's a ton of bad ones out there. But when I look up what Shaw Brother movie to watch, I only look for the best ones.
You know what I think is like hard about about kung fu movie, trying to find a bad kung fu movie, is because the bottom line standard of a kung fu movie, no matter if it's good or bad, is the kung fu good?
The choreography, yeah. There's plenty of knockoff kung fu movies made in America in the '80s with hilariously bad
that doesn't count.
Fight choreography.
But that doesn't count because it's not a real kung fu movie.
Right.
It's a parody. It's supposed to be bad.
Well, no, it's trying to copy it successfully and doing a bad job of it.
Well, some of it, one movie did it really good, which we all know. Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Well, that was deliberately a parody of them. I meant movies that were trying to capture it sincerely.
What, like American movies?
Yeah, there was a bunch of things in the '80s like that, like your American Ninja or whatever.
That was good, though.
The American Ninja one's good. Yeah. Bad example, but there's other things like that. Like Samurai Cop has terrible fight choreography.
What's the guy's name? Charles Farley?
Yeah, something like that. Chris Farley?
Chris Farley? You know he's like a comedic genius, right?
Yeah. No, no. I'm not talking about his comedy. There's a different actual kung fu movie from the '80s that has that title. American Ninja.
Didn't we see the third one together?
No,
we saw one ninja movie at my.
Oh, that one was great. Ninja 1 and Ninja 2: Shadow of a Tear.
The girl,
those two are great.
When she gets possessed by a evil ninja. Spirit.
Oh, Ninja 3: The Domination.
That was sick.
That one. Yeah, that was. You're right. That was one of the American Ninja movies. Yeah, sick. That one was sick. Yeah, first one's decent. Second one's very boring and bland. But 1 and 2 are good.
Yo, I literally, you know what?
What?
I'm gonna share this with you because I know, like, no matter who I tell, no one's gonna get in this way. Even I couldn't get in the way of this because I don't even know if I want to do it, but I know it has to be done. I'm gonna make a movie.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make a movie.
Sounds good. What will it be?
I don't know, and I don't even think it's gonna be a good movie, but it's gonna be made.
It'd be worth to do. I love movies so much, and I never even tried making one.
Do you want to make it with me?
Yeah.
Let's make it together.
Let me try making one.
We could be like the new Coen brothers.
I never bothered trying when I was young.
We could be like the new Coen brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Mr. Vampire movies?
No.
They're kung fu horror comedies. They're about like traditional Chinese vampires and hungry ghosts.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I can't think of anything wrong with that.
No, it's great. It looks great. I'm sure there's a bunch of knockoff films that came out that weren't good.
All right, so let's talk about the big one.
Yeah. Big Trouble in Little China.
Well, that is a big one, but not the big one. I mean, as far as like Western audiences are concerned, most of the listeners are concerned.
Zoo Warriors from the Magic Mountain.
Oh, but that's good.
That's a good one. But
before I say something,
okay.
I just want to say that I checked the demographic stats on the YouTube page.
Yeah.
100% of the listeners are all like American males.
Hell yeah, brother. This is a boys only space, dudes rock. This is a podcast for the boys.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck it, eh? When I saw that, like, it's like, imagine like half of your body is like elated and the other half is just like depressed, and you're like, what do you think that would feel like? But anyway, the big kung fu movie, as far as Western audiences are concerned.
Enter the Dragon?
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Because
that's like, yeah, mainstream, acceptably grounded wuxia movie.
It was the first one that won
Oscar? Yeah.
Also,
I should rewatch it and see how I feel about it as an adult.
we could watch it together.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, we should watch together. Oh my god, that's a good blog post. I'll review.
That would, yeah.
I'll review Crouching Tiger. He's like I'll call it my experience watching Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, drunk on a bottle of bourbon.
Yeah.
And then I think I could write a good piece on it. Like,
Have you ever seen Dragon Inn? I've never seen it.
no,
Dragon Inn is a huge inspiration for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's from like 67.
is it like the Hateful Eight but like kung fu shit?
No, it's more like
That would be a great idea for a movie, like Hateful Eight but kung fu
yeah,
shit.
but no, it's more like
Hateful Eight too. No, Hateful Eight. Hateful Eight. Hateful Eight. Hateful Eight.
it's more it's like the good, the bad, and the ugly for kung fu movies.
No, you're right. You called me out so well outside. By the way, you were like, "That sounds like a Japanese accent." Because you're right. I was trying to do a Chinese accent, but you were like,
Oh,
that.
thank you.
So you were able to call it out, but you're right. It's like in Japanese, like hateful eight.
Yeah,
but
it
in
is.
Chinese, it's like hateful eight.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Hateful eight. Hateful eight. Oh, hateful. You on the what number A? Oh no, you meant hateful eight. You meant DVD. Oh, okay, you
Yeah.
meant DVD. And then meanwhile, the Japanese say, "Oh, you meant the DVD though."
Yeah, exactly. They have those different cadences.
Meanwhile, the Chinese say,
tones.
"Oh, you meant hateful eight."
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
man.
accurate. That's very good. That's
Oh,
very
you
good.
meant hateful eight. Okay, man.
Yeah.
yeah. All right, fine. I could work on. I could dial this in.
Your accent, you're very good Chinese and Japanese accents there. Both of those were like good performances there.
drive a Subaru.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you know Jackie Chan drives Mitsubishi? that's how you know.
Yeah.
Don't you know Jackie drives? Don't
Yeah.
you know Jackie Chan drives Mitsubishi? I know Jackie Chan is from Hong Kong, but we are from China. We're all from China. We are all one people. We are all one people, like one noodle. One noodle for one people. Yeah. Okay, I got this. I could do this.
You're really good. Really
I could
good.
do this. I could do this. I could fucking.
I have trouble. I don't have trouble. If I hear it, I can place it, but I can't quite describe a Korean accent.
No, it's because I watch so many different like samurai movies
Yeah.
and kung fu movies, and it just gets mixed together.
Yeah.
And I have to remember not to mix them. This is a Japanese, and this one is Chinese, man.
Yeah. There's
This one
that.
is Chinese, man.
Chinese have that sing-song quality in their voice.
Yeah, that's because the Japanese people, they eat to live, and the Chinese people live to eat.
Live to eat every single animal on Earth.
Yeah.
This fucking crazy. Aliens could crash land in China, and the people would just swarm it and start cooking dinner with the alien bodies, and then they reverse engineer the alien spacecraft to make the chintziest automobiles possible and get into car crashes going at warp speed.
Yeah, so there's this movie that
Yeah.
I don't even know if anyone if anyone listening ever saw this, but there was a Matt Damon movie where
Great Wall.
yeah, The Great Wall.
That movie was huge in China. I know they like
Get the
request.
fuck out. No, it's because they had huge Chinese stars.
Yeah,
with William.
It was
Dafoe,
a Chinese
with
production. It was like primarily a Chinese production.
with Matt Damon, with Willem Dafoe, with
Yeah.
with Luis Pena.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it did very well in China. I've never seen it.
Oh my god.
And people were calling it racist, but
I
it
just-
was like Matt Damon was in it because he's big in the Chinese market.
I just
Chinese
had a-
fucking love Matt Damon. For
I
some
just
reason.
had a horrible realization.
What's that?
If they ever remade The Princess Bride, Luis Pena would be the lead star.
Decent possibility. Or Pascal, Paul Mezcal or Paul Mez.
Oh, sorry. What was his name's not Luis Pena. What's his name? Who was the guy that played Mandalorian?
Oh fuck, I don't remember, but yeah,
That's who I'm talking about.
I was thinking of Luis Guzman
I don't know. They all
in Great Wall, but
Yeah, that's who it is. Luis Guzman.
What?
This the Hispanic guy. That's his name. Luis Guzman.
yeah.
Was he?
No, he's the fat like Mexican.
No.
Oh.
Who's the guy that was like? You know who I'm talking about? The good-looking Hispanic guy.
Javier Bardem.
No, look up the Mandalorian. Like who played the Mandalorian? He was in Narcos.
Okay, I'm looking it up, but keep killing time.
Okay, so this guy, I mean, if people talk about how like Hollywood stars sell their soul to the devil just to get a little bit of fame, I feel like that guy like took it up the ass from Diddy. took it
Pedro
up-
Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
I
There
was
you
saying
go.
mezcal, but yeah,
Pedro Pascal, that guy.
yeah.
I bet he got
Great
fucked in the ass by
Wall.
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein, I think, is one of the only straight men in Hollywood.
He just happens to be a rapist.
Yeah, and Jewish. Great Wall is
Pablo Pascal,
Matt Damon,
Willem Dafoe.
Jing Tian, Willem Dafoe, Pedro Pascal, Pero Tovar. Yeah, Andy Lau,
Dude, that's
Zhang
that's a
Hanyu.
dude, that's a
That is a
stacked-
sick cast,
that's a stacked
actually.
lineup, man.
Group of European mercenaries encounters a secret army that defends the Great Wall of China against a horde of monsters, huh?
You know, yo, guess what the monsters were?
what? They're like lung.
Aliens.
Oh, what? Would really?
Yeah.
Wow,
Those
that's
are-
retarded.
No. That's genius. Are you serious? That's fucking awesome. Like, think about it.
I would like it more if they were just mystical creatures. I would have to see it. I have to see it. If they were-
No. So what happened was in ancient China, like, China was
UFO
at,
crash lands.
no, China was at war with the Mongolians, right?
Yeah.
But before that, before that time, thousands of years before, a meteor came down, and like these like deep dwelling like hell beasts
Yeah.
like started sprouting from the ground after the meteor, and they were the aliens, they were the extraterrestrials that came out and started eating humans. So they came up with like, that's why they devised the Great Wall. They thought it was to keep out the Mongolians, but it was really to keep out these things. That was the secret, and they were able to contain
Once
enough.
every 60 years, huh? Yeah, that actually is a fun plot.
But that ties into like ancient
I have to see
reptilians, hell beasts, but the Asian take on
yeah,
reptilians.
in America, but not in China, there was a controversy over Matt Damon being the main character.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
White protagonist,
And he
in
was
an
really
East
good with a
Asian
bow.
setting.
He was like an archer. He was like a pro archer.
Yeah,
He was able to like do all these crazy tricks with the bow to impress the the Chinese people.
yeah, yeah. Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah,
A lot of nationalist complaints regarding the movie, but yeah, Dragon Blade is a
Anyways, you guys got to see the Great Wall. It's a wacky
Yeah.
movie. It's a straight up like, how is this? Who greenlit this?
Yeah. What's that? Hold on, let me see. Is it? Yeah. Dragon Blade is a Rome meets China film.
That's good.
With
That's
Jackie
awesome.
Chan and Adrian Brody
That's fucking sick.
as Romans fighting with Chinese.
I would watch the fuck out of that.
And John Cusack. John Cusack, a very modern face, imagining him as a Roman official. Nice.
Yeah, so Great Wall. You guys got to see the fucking. You guys got to see the Great Wall. Matt Damon, fighting the reptilian force with Chinese people.
Yeah.
In ancient China. Oh man.
I just love Chinese and hot air balloons, one of their favorite inventions. And gunpowder.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of another good movie that like seemed to tell. You ever watch Gods of Egypt?
A little bit.
Yeah, with Alexander Skarsgård, Gerard
Yeah.
Butler. God, that movie was fucking good. That was like literally about the Anunnaki.
I like that element of it. It also felt a lot like New Gods by Jack Kirby. But yeah, a bunch of things aesthetically I didn't like, but I liked the concept a lot. Some of the things aesthetically I liked. I just wanted to have better fight choreography and better special effects.
You ever seen Noah?
No, I never have. I know of it. It's Darren Aronofsky. It is not an action film or an adventure film. It's very much a meditation on God. And
But it
it's
stars Russell Crowe.
Crow, yeah.
And Hermione Bitch.
The Nephilim are like rock golems in it.
No, they're actually the Nephilim are beings of light.
Oh,
and
okay.
They happen to manifest into the golem. Like they transmit into the golems, and the golems take life. And once the golems die in the material realm, they transform back into light. But Gods of Egypt had a lot of parallels with that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Sorry. No, it's okay. You know what, Carmen? I think on a, I mean, not to be I'm not actually. It's literally impossible to be offensive about this because like plenty of great men had this, but I think you have a weak constitution.
Okay, I can go with that. Go on.
No, like you could have like high intel
Yeah.
points, high luck,
But health,
high
my
charisma.
constitution.
Constitution, yeah. You know what they call like characters with high attack and low health?
A glass cannon?
Yes.
Hmm.
And I love glass. That's my favorite. Actually, those are my favorite builds in video games. I
Yeah.
don't know why. There's something really sad because when you sacrifice that much health, you get to like be very potent in your attacks. So it's like my
It's
favorite.
fun and it favors a very skilled
Yeah,
player.
and it's high risk.
Nah, are you saying I'm crashing, that I blew a huge load? No homo? And
No,
also-
I'm saying I've never seen you blow a huge load or crash, which is why I'm scared about the day I do see that. Like maybe it's like I've known you for a couple of years now, so it's like maybe if I ever did see you crash, you'd crash like a lot harder.
Perhaps.
Because I know you've told me it's like I haven't been doing good, but I'm like I don't know. From where I stand, you seem to be doing all right.
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, especially compared to how I used to be. I'm actually been doing all right for a long time.
You've never seen me crash though.
No,
But
certainly not crash out.
the reason why you've never seen me crash is because I've crashed out all I had in me to crash out. I crashed out in my teenage years when I was in a group home.
Yeah, in
Like-
my 20s.
Like when you spend the best years of your life, like your high school years in a group in like foster care, you crashed out way too soon. Like that's all I was thinking when I was in like the St. John's group home for boys. I was so depressed. I was like on MySpace in their group home library talking to like the couple friends who would respond, and they'd be like, "Shit, where have you been, man?" It's like, dude. And it's like I couldn't even describe it to them because they were like having their high school lives, and I was
Yeah.
like in a fucking group home in like Rockaways with a bunch of like Dominican and black people and like black kids with parents that killed each other and shit. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? You know, it's like.
How did I land myself in this situation?
But by the time I got out of that,
Yeah.
and by the time like because like when I got out of that whole group home situation, I was 17 going on 18.
Yeah.
So I was already like almost like independent age. So when I got out of the group home, my friends were like finishing up senior year.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, I'm out and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. But then like as the years went on, within 3 years, it became very apparent to me. I was like, oh, you guys are on some different, like you don't know. Like
Yeah.
you don't know what
You
what the-
matured a lot of those years. You had a huge learning experience. The
I
school of
hated
hard
it.
knocks of
I
being in the
hated
group
it,
home.
but you're right. It was
Yeah, it sounds like you really hated it, but you.
and I didn't. I took it for granted at the time too. Even during the foster home, I was like, "Oh, I guess this is just what all kids have to deal with."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, because all the kids, I was in there with a bunch of black boys and Dominican boys and Puerto Rican boys, and they had fucked up lives.
Yeah.
But then I spent my teenage years there, my formative years there, and I was like, okay, I guess that's normal.
Yeah.
But then like I get out of that. And now I'm an adult, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make something of myself. I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna hold it down. Blah blah blah. And then I'm with my like white boy friends, and they're fucking up like in the most retarded ways. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Like, do you have no idea what you have? Do you have no idea what you grew up with? Do you have no idea like what opportunities were? And I don't mean to sound like a fucking.
Well, it's not even that what
No, I'm not a-
opportunities. It's
I
not
don't-
even what opportunities were given to them. It's that you were in a situation with particularly fucked up people who were disadvantaged. Framing it as the opportunities these other people had.
No, you're right. It
It's
shouldn't be
literally
seen as-
the people you were with in the group home were people who were fucked over. It's not that the people you knew
I thought-
outside had
and I was
privilege.
wrong to think that was normal.
Yeah,
it
the
wasn't.
people
It's not normal,
The
but
people you knew on the outside were way closer to the norm. The kids you were with in the group
but
home were
now
more
it's like the
fuck.
norm isn't serving us anymore.
Yeah.
The norm back then isn't like fucked up now because now it damaged us. Well, not me. Well, yeah, it did damage me too. Because if it damages my friends, my closest friends, then it damages me too. So if the status quo damages like the people closest to me,
Yeah.
then yeah, sure as shit is gonna damage me too, by default. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed it, and it's tragic that it ended this way. That
Yeah.
like I happen to be the most sensible one, like 6 times out of 10, because I just happen to be out of a foster/group home. Like.
Well, you had a lot of experience. You saw people who were really fucked up that you were around in the group home. I think it just gave you a much wider perspective on life.
But then, like now that I'm 30, it gave me an even wider perspective when it's like, When we were in our 20s, I was like, you're just stupid.
Yeah.
But now that we're in our 30s, it's like, okay, now you have artificial tits. You're about to chop off your dick. Your mom hates you. Your dad hates you. And they both hate each other. And your whole life's a mess. And your life is not going anywhere. And you're so convicted about this. So this is where we're at.
Yeah.
You know, like that's just one example. I don't mean to like isolate that one example. That was just like
One that came to mind, but yeah.
But that's one. But there's other ones like, well, you know, that has to do with meth. You know, like
Yeah.
meth usage. Just like, oh, great, you make like $6,000 a week, but no, not $6,000 a year. But let's see how long that lasts with the meth habit you have, because they happen to live in one of the square states, and you know,
Yeah.
it's all fucked up all around. And but the answer is the same no matter what. It's self mastery. You know.
Yes. Self-mastery, self-cultivation, getting
And
out of
God.
that situation, that you were in before.
I don't mean to be a Bible. I'm not.
No,
I'm not
it's
even
okay. It's an interesting
You
development.
notice, like,
It's not a surprising one either.
You notice I never talk about Christ or Jesus. I'm
Yeah.
talking about God. I'm talking about the absolute. And
Yeah.
I don't know if Christ is the guy. I don't know if Muhammad is the guy. I don't know if
Well, Muhammad's a prophet. Christ.
I don't know.
Is the
I don't know if
incarnation.
Mr. I don't know if Mr. Kwanzaa is the guy. I don't know
Yeah.
if I don't know if the Hanukkah armadillo is the guy. Okay. All I know is that God is the guy, the guy squared. you
Yeah.
know? Like, I don't know. But yeah, you're right. Like, back to what I was saying. It's like, yeah, the standards, you know, like, it's all out of whack. And at some points I feel out of tune, but then like at this point I feel so in tune. It's like
Yeah.
retarded. And you know, you don't always know how to take that. Because you're watching other people suffer, but then you're like, I can't save you. I can't. I know I can't. Nobody can. You know, like, nobody can.
Yeah.
Not even Superman. Could you imagine like Superman saving this white bitch trying to jump off a building and she maces him? And
Yes.
he's like, what the, you know?
Yeah, well, the mace won't do anything to him. So, yes.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Like this kind of shit. I'm not that I'm saying I'm Superman. Maybe I'm the white girl.
Yes.
You know,
The dichotomy of a man, either Superman or the white girl. Either a Jew or a wasp.
Yeah. Damn, this was a good episode so far.
I agree.
You know what? I've been doing a lot of research and study on being funny.
Yeah, go on.
Cause like I never thought I was a funny person. Do you think I'm a funny person?
I think you're a funny guy.
I think I could be funny sometimes, but not intentionally. And like, I wanted to know like what made the geniuses, because they're like the geniuses who are good at being funny. They're studied in being funny.
They study it, but they have a lot of natural talent. I think
The
a lot of
natural
people can
talent- no.
study comedy
But I
and
don't
get
think
better.
the natural talent is something you're just born with. I think the natural talent is something you have to live through.
Maybe it's certain people are destined to have that natural talent, and others aren't, based on their upbringing or their background.
Okay, so all right, let me put it in a different way. What
ahead.
I mean to say is like everyone has the capacity to be funny, but they have a block.
Yeah.
And if you could get over that block, then you could effortlessly be funny. But if you have that block and you haven't gotten over it, then you'll never be able to like do it whenever you want.
Yeah.
Now here's my block, my personal block. I can't speak for anyone else's funny block, but my funny block is a while ago, at some point in my life, I decided I will never complain about anything to anyone ever.
Very good, especially in this era where everyone's
then-
complaining all the time.
But then when I studied humor,
Yeah.
and like I studied the theory behind humor and the psychological studies behind humor and funniness and the reaction of like funniness and all that stuff, I realized the core of humor is complaining. Like it's really picking out something you don't like,
Yeah.
picking out something that you would normally complain about and transmuting it into something that makes other people laugh. And that's what people are most likely to laugh about, because the key is misdirection. Like if people are all upset about this thing and you happen to like misdirect it in a way where people could laugh at it, it's the core of being funny is complaining. So if I don't let myself complain ever, I can never truly be funny at will. So maybe that's what I have to let go of. Maybe I have to just let myself complain now, if I want to be funny. But the question is, do I have to be funny? You know, it's like, do I even care to be
Well, I
funny?
don't know about have to. Do you want to be funny is actually a better question. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to.
Yeah, I want to be funny because laughter cures
Yeah.
cures ailments. Laughter is a cure. Laughter is healing. So
And
yeah,
perhaps it requires that then.
so maybe I should allow myself to complain, but as long as it's funny.
Only within the context of it being funny, yes, or only within certain bits.
So if you know what, I won't even post about this on Facebook. That's how serious I am about this.
Yeah.
I won't try to be funny unless. No, I mean I won't try to complain unless I make it funny. Like let's try right now. Like let me think of something that I hate. What can I complain about? I can complain about. I could complain about how everything's so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Cigarettes. Why are cigarettes so expensive? I mean, I don't even know if this is funny, but I know I know it's fucked up that we have to pay extra to kill ourselves, basically.
Yeah. Well, the point is to deter you from killing yourself.
Smoke
by
some of this, by
forcing
the way.
you-
This is both tobacco
Oh,
and weed.
sorry.
Don't hit it hard. Just hit it like a cigarette, and it's like gonna be pleasant. Yeah. You know what? When I realize, like, when I smoke spliffs with people, they're like, "I hate this." It's because they smoke it like a joint, as if they're like trying to get everything out of it. I'm like, no, you're supposed to smoke it like a cigarette, man. You're not supposed
I
to.
vastly prefer a spliff to a joint.
No, what I would say is I vastly prefer a spliff to a cigarette.
I love a cigarette, man.
Yeah, but a spliff is better than a cigarette.
It's nice to get the marijuana with the tobacco, but I just love tobacco so
Okay,
much.
so when it comes to spliff, like, what do you think is the ideal ratio? Like 70-30 broccoli, beef, like 30% beef?
80% tobacco, 20% marijuana.
That's a good one. I think it's 70% tobacco.
I'll
and
also
30.
that's also good by me. It has to be heavily.
You know why? You know
majority.
why I say 70-30?
Why?
The rule of thirds, the golden ratio, and all that shit. Because
I like that. I'll stand by that. A 70-30 mix of tobacco and marijuana.
Because of the golden ratio and the rule of thirds.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at my like obsidian, like right now, you see that
Yes.
like you see how there's like everything else is orbiting around that huge cluster that's just like gathered together.
Yeah. It's
That
a
huge cluster-
visualization of your mind.
You know what that huge cluster focus is?
What?
All design. Like I'm not talking about graphic design, not like computer design, not software design, not mechanical. It's just pure design.
Yeah.
Like as in like how do I critique design? Like whether it's architecture, whether it's a painting, whether it's food, whether it's been the most beautiful experience ever. Like could you imagine like arming yourself with a lexicon to truly like no matter what you're dissecting, whether it's food, whether it's a painting or movie, like you understand sensible design elements where it's like these are the principles that make something good, what regardless of what that thing is, that something is. These are the things, and they're like contrast, leveling, audience, intention. It's good shit. And I'm glad and I know this isn't course specific. This isn't a niche thing. This is a universal thing. You know, this is what I noticed. I realized this about myself. I'm not looking for niche interests.
Yes.
I'm looking for universal interests. I'm looking for the most universal interests I could find. And I think there's a very profound difference in that. And I think like the autistic people are very honed in on niches, whereas enlightened people are honed in on universality. That sounds racist or primitivist or
I don't think so on either account. That micro versus macro view.
maybe it sounds elitist. I don't know.
I don't even know about that.
But I think like
The niche or specialized knowledge versus generalized knowledge.
all right, here's a good allegory for this, all right? So at one point there were kings,
Yes.
and kings only knew their lands. They only knew their kingdoms. A king without his kingdom was hardly a king at all. However, then you had these people called pirates. Pirates weren't beholden to a single plot of land. Pirates were not beholden to a single lineage or a single kingdom that came with that lineage or a single territory. Pirates were able to literally see more of the world than any king ever possibly could. Now, everyone in their isolated kingdoms, which is most people, would look towards their king and think the king knew most. But truthfully, the kings relied on pirates and the corporatists, the generalists, to tell them what the fuck was up with the world. Now, what this means is that the pirates knew they had to tell the kings a lot of stuff, but not everything. because the kings had access to vast resources in their kingdom, but they didn't have access to the resources in other kingdoms. So it was up to the pirates not to control those kingdoms, but to control the flow of information between those kingdoms. And that's what gave the corporatists and the pirates and the generalists true power. So the true conspiracy is that the past 6, maybe 5, maybe 7 generations, we were trained or conditioned to think the specialists were what mattered, when in reality, the generalists were in control.
Very nice. How you doing, man? You want to close this out?
I want to finish this split first.
Okay.
So how do you feel about that? Expand on that. Generalist versus specialist.
Oh, damn. Okay, fine. A general trend with specialization of labor, both even before industrialization, earlier forms of like manufactories in the 1600s in Europe, lead to more and more specialized tasks rather than the generalized woodworker. You are a person.
You
who
need
does
more
a
guys to
certain
push buttons and not to learn.
Well, you also
things.
have things like people specialize in an industrial or a factory environment in doing one thing,
You need
putting
more
one
system-based
bend.
thinking and not primitive-based thinking.
Yeah. The generalist trends still romanticize, still probably a better way to live. This has a Marxist quality when he describes someone as being able to hunt in the morning, fish in the afternoon, write poetry in the evening, or whatever.
Just to interject real quick, I
Please.
just want to add my ideal personally.
Yeah.
Is that there is no conflict between generalists and specialists, and they integrate.
Yeah.
Continue what we were saying.
That'd be ideal too.
Yeah, that's my ideal. Dude, that's how have you noticed? This is how I approach everything. I try to integrate the general, like I try to generalize but specialize in everything I generally approach.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to blow your mind.
No, it's fine.
I'm kidding.
No, it's fine.
That's a dickheaded thing to say. I didn't mean that. Like I was
I don't mind. I don't take no offense. I take no offense to it. I think it's far more fulfilling as an individual in the world to be a generalist.
I think when it pays to be a generalist when you're young, but
Yeah.
it pays to be more of a specialist when you're older.
Certainly having experience, being able to leverage that.
Because the truth is, when you're young, you have an abundance of energy, so you can generalize more. When
That's
you're old,
true.
you have an abundance of experience, and you should have an abundance of experience, and you should have an abundance of capital. So
Yeah.
therefore, you could specialize.
That's true.
And by will, and you have more you could choose to specialize in, as opposed to when you're young. Why limit yourself? When you're young, the younger you are, you could generalize way more, and then when you generalize enough to gain enough capital or gain enough opportunity, gain enough networks, then you could specialize on anything. It's like, let's say, like by the time you're like 60 years old, it's like I've been an entrepreneur, I've been a salesman, I've been a caretaker, I've been an artist, I've been a curator, I've been a fucking manager, I've been everything. I've been a family man, I've been a father. Like I've done it all. And then now that I'm 60, I'm gonna be a pimp in South America.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a bunch of my boys, and they're gonna get guns, and their boys have sons, and they're gonna get guns, and we're gonna get a bunch of girls who have nowhere to go, and we're just gonna make them like turn tricks.
Yeah.
And this is just what I want to do, because I know I could do this. I'm smart. All right. I've read I know calculus. I know quantum physics. I've read all of Robert Greene's books. Like I've read Machiavelli. I've read Hegel. All right. Like, listen, I could do this. I could be a fucking pimp in South America. Carmen, can be a pimp in South America. Yo, I could imagine, like, did you see Kill Bill Volume 2?
Yes.
You remember Bill's adoptive father?
Yeah.
I feel like you are him reincarnated.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I feel like you could be that guy.
Yeah.
Just live like reading books, like pimping out hookers and like smoking a pipe, and it's like, you want revenge on my godson? Well, I like you. You're a hot woman, and I know Bill, my godson, would do anything for a hot piece of pussy. So, yeah, I'll let you kill him.
Yeah.
You would have that kind of sensibility. Like you'd be like, yeah, I know my godson would totally would totally let a hot blonde mommy kill him. So I'll lead you right to him.
Nice imitation of my voice. I feel like a celebrity when various people are trying to do impressions of me.
No, the problem is I could do white people really well. Like
Yeah.
other races are hard.
I think your Chinese and Japanese are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really need to work on your black accent, but you're great at East Asians.
The reason why I can't practice the black one as much
Yeah.
because it requires the use of a certain word. That
Oh, right. That we're still unfairly tyrannized by being unable to say. Our society would be so much better if people of all races could say nigga.
no, but it's funny because like being from New York, like I know
Yeah.
a lot of Asians who use that word like liberally.
Yes.
I mean, I know them to hang out with black people who see them and hear them hearing the word liberally.
And also, they just say they're saying the hominin in
think the
Chinese or in Korean.
I think here's the three criteria where
Yeah.
no matter what race you are in like any metropolitan area in America,
Yes.
what gives you the right to say the N-word is A, you got to be willing to stab somebody.
Yeah.
B, you got to be willing to be stabbed or shot by somebody. And C,
Mm-hmm.
you got to be willing to get arrested.
Yeah.
Or you got to be willing to kill somebody. Like that those are the three things, like
Yeah.
like you got to be willing to
Do those things to have the right to say the N-word.
yeah.
That's reasonable.
Eminem never said it because he didn't fit the criteria.
Yeah.
I mean, you could think of plenty of sensible people in black culture who never said the N-word because they didn't fit those criteria, which
That's
I just
fair.
laid out, I laid out a good framework. If you guys want to say the N-word, you got to be willing to kill somebody, you got to be willing to get killed by somebody, and you got to be willing to get arrested.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to do all three of those things, then you ain't fit to say the N-word. Now, am I willing to say, all right, let's look at me personally. Am I willing to kill somebody? No. Am I willing to get killed by somebody? Hell fucking no. I'll probably kiss somebody, shoot it, just save my own life. Shit. I don't care I'm not like about that samurai death cult honor.
Yeah. Which is why you're Korean and not Japanese. You don't have the same
However,
suicidal drive.
However, I will kiss that guy's shoe, and if that situation ever comes around where I could like give up his life to save my own, like I'll give it up. It's like it's kind of that. What goes around comes around, kid. It's like you made me do that. Well, I'll remember that. Like I'll like I'm not a violent person, but I'm not a stupid person either. Like
No.
if I can make decisions where I think this is how evil happens. It's like it starts with a good thing. It's like you know what? I'll bite my tongue, and then later on, it's like, hey, I remembered that time, and yeah, I am willing to watch you and your family, like your wife and your children, burn to death. Yeah, why not? How do you feel about that? Barbaric sensibility being born from originally rational sensibility.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. Makes perfect sense.
Do you know any examples of that in your actual life?
Far less in my actual life since I'm so far divorced from those kind of things. But, you have rational decisions. Like, for instance, slavery perhaps originally being born out of an alternative to genocide.
Anyway, all right. Do you have any closing statements for the crowd?
Nah, I'm pretty good. I mean, I like ran out of juice a little while ago.
All right,
but not too long ago. But
let's say you were about to be executed because you said
the N-word.
The N-word, yeah.
I said nigger on recording. As a result, I'm being executed by DEI
I don't
professionals.
censor. I don't censor these things. Right?
Yeah, I know.
All right. So let's say
I'm going to die at the hands of DEI.
All right. So, all right, that's a good
I say it again several times before I'm decapitated by a woke cleaver.
All right, so
woke guillotine.
So here's my closing statement. My closing statement is be grateful. No matter how bad things get, no matter how good things get, always be grateful. Because when you're grateful, you'll never lose.
Yeah.
Nobody could beat you when you're grateful. Anyway, good night, you
Good
fucking
night.